once we did it in 4/8, we didn't have any trouble with it. And that's the really good thing about you having gone through 4 entire semesters of count lab is by now you're okay with 4/8. You're okay with 3/16 or whatever they want to throw at you. And that's what gets you through some of these stuff. So when I was in college taking flute lessons, I loved Baroque music. I was just crazy. Of course, Baroque, that's the golden age of the flute. There's tons of really great stuff written for flute in the Baroque. So I remember my teacher, you know, you're going to have to do something besides Baroque stuff. Oh, yes, but there's so much Bach. But I kept running across this second movement. Almost every flute piece I played was second movement. I had to count as a Baroque adagio. So I got fairly good at counting it like that. And I remember one day I was in the band hall at my college and I was practicing one of these adagios. And I remember somebody walked by and looked at the music and I'm like, whoa, you can read that? I mean, it's like a magic trick. But, I mean, same as we're doing now, it's fairly easy to convert it to a 4/8. So let's look at 1048. Here's a good one. Yeah, show this to somebody. Where is a drummer? So 3/8. So what would you convert it to?
6/8?
6/16. Double the top number and the bottom.
1 and 2.
No, 6/16. So if a 16th note gets the beat, the 8th note is 2 beats. So
1.
So 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6.
Say that again?
Okay. Now hold on a second. 16th note gets the beat.
Right.
So the first note is an 8. That's 2 16ths. So it's 1. Now I know this looks like it goes very fast, but if a 16th note gets the beat, then the second and third notes are 3, 4. And if the 16th note gets the beat, that means the 32nd is the division. So the last 4 rhythms there are 5, 8, 6. So 1, 3, 4, 5, 8, 6. Now the second measure starts with an 8. 1, then 3 ta theta, 4 ta theta, 5 ta 6 ta. You see it? So it loses one beam. So if you're subdividing 3 ta theta, 4 ta theta, then you lose the beam, it becomes 5 ta 6. And then that second last measure, 1 pulse, 3, no. 16th note gets 1 beat.
4 to theta?
4 ta theta, yeah. So we got 1, 3, 4 ta theta. Yeah, if the 16th note gets a beat.
6 to theta.
5, 6 to theta, and then 1 pulse.
1 pulse,
But, gosh, look at those beams. So
there you go.
64th notes. You will see this, Bach did this in his organ works. He seemed to like 64th notes, and even sometimes 128. You'll see a couple of those. But it's always an adagio. So you see all of these beams, but you're just going 1 to 2 to like that. It's not a difficult rhythm, it's just written in a way that's difficult to read because it's not common. Now, the trick is, the only way, well, there's actually 2 ways to realize you've got a Baroque adagio. The way you should realize it is you can't say, 1 ta theta, because it's got too many beats. So that's the first thing. The second thing could be the tempo itself. If you see quarter note equal 44, or quarter note equal 50, and you just get to a point where it's just very difficult to keep a steady tempo. It goes very slow. So almost every musician who has to keep a very slow tempo, in their mind they're going 1 and 2 and. Just trying to do it without that division won't work. So then that division actually becomes the beat.
So then our piece.
Hold on, before we get there, let's. Okay, everybody, number 1050. 1, 2, ready. So even at the top it says 8th note equal 1 beat. Another thing you'll sometimes see in Baroque adagios that are edited for publication is you'll see this and then up here it will say something like that. So instead of saying quarter note equal, it'll say eighth note equal. And that's the indication. You're supposed to count this in 4/8 time.
Yeah, your eighth note would be
That 3/8 makes so much more sense now.
39.
So if you look at 1050,
49.
take a look at 1050.
1050, 1049.
This has got every rhythm ever created from the history of rhythm. Let's see how far we can. So how many beats in the measure now if we're doing the broken note?
8.
4/8. 4/8.
It's 4/8 times. So 4 beats in the measure. The eighth note gets the beat. So the first note gets how many beats?
3.
3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah, ah. 1, 2, 3, ah, ah. 3, ah. There we go, almost made it to the last one. We're doing pretty good until we get all those syncopations. But you understanding how it works? It shouldn't be all that hard. And I'll show you a trick that sometimes works. If you look at the second last measure where everything's got multiple beams, if you want to look at what it would look like in a 4/4, if you take a piece of paper and lower it over the top beam, get rid of the top beam. Now you see something that in 4/4, it looks like 1 to te, pulse, take, 3 to take, ta, take. Do you see it? It looks like a 4/4 bar. So if you get a measure that everything's beamed with multiple beams, if you hold a straight edge and cover up the top beam, you'll see what it looks like in a more familiar meter.
Ah, and then 3/8 you cover up 2 of them, 2 beams. Does that make sense?
Say it.
In the 3/8 you cover up 2 beams.
No, you'd still cover up 1.
Still need to be compound. Or,
And plus, it would need to be like everything in the measure being beamed, so that multiple beams, so you could cover 1. Now, in what looks like compound, the 6/8 here at the bottom of the page, this looks harder, but it's actually easier. See if you can figure this out. The trouble is, we've been doing compound time so much that by now you're all thinking 6/8 is going to be 1 lolly, 2 lolly. But how would you count the first measure there?
1,
The pickup is 6, so
6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 6 to
yes.
1.
So this is very simple. It's simple time. So we learned everything as compound. We've been doing that so much. But if you look at it and what looks like compound time, just look at the time signature. 6 beats in the measure, the 8th note gets a beat. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 to the 1, 3 to the 4 to the 5 to the 6 to the 1 to the 4. 4. Okay, now go back to the page that I gave you the other